Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel a wave of relaxation. Breathing in resourcefulness, exhaling tension. That's it, eyelids feeling heavier and heavier. Become aware of your breathing. The frequency, the depth. Feel the breath going in through your nose, filling your lungs. And as you exhale, start to feel tension, any stress or worries. Leave your body in your outward breath. That's it. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a color that represents resourcefulness. Maybe a bright blue, orange, or yellow. See it glowing, and as you imagine breathing in, imagine that bright glowing color going in through your nose, feeling that you're breathing in the resourceful feelings. But as you exhale, see a shadowy grey, darker color leaving your body, representing those unresourceful emotions that you're letting go of. Not just stress or anxiety or worry. Any frustrations, any regrets, any shame. Just feel that leaving your body as you consider this an emotional transfusion. Breathing in the resources that your intuition needs and letting go of those that are somehow impeding or reducing the quality of your life. Include relaxation as one of those resources, so that as you breathe in that relaxing resourcefulness, feel the tiny muscles in your forehead start to relax, eyelids heavier, the relaxation in your jaw, neck and shoulders. That's it. Breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to imagine a portal leading back through time. So you can imagine visiting a moment from your past. And maybe this portal looks futuristic, or maybe just a wormhole of time and energy. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and I want you to imagine stepping into the portal and being transported all the way back to a moment from your childhood where you were sleeping on a terrace looking up at the clear night sky. 5, just feeling a wave of relaxation. 4, breathing in and breathing out effortlessly. That's it. 3, feeling how you would feel if you were having an enjoyable yawn. 2, giving permission to just let go. And then 1, stepping into the portal, feeling almost a swish back in time. But you're back in time at your current age, but in an environment that reminds you of your past. And just find a quiet terrace. And just imagine a very comfortable, relaxing surface. Maybe a chair, a bed, a hammock, or something else. And just place you on that thing. If there's any smells around that time, smell them. Maybe feel a cool breeze on your skin. Feel safe. Feel calm. Feel relaxed. Continue to breathe in that resourceful feeling, but this time add resilience into those resources. Feeling more and more resilient with each breath, and exhaling the opposite of resilience, any sense of fragility, any moments of feeling easily triggered. Just allow them to leave your body. You're becoming stronger and more resilient, more resourceful with each and every breath. And imagine staring up into the night sky, seeing those stars. And for a moment, just imagine fixating your attention on one star in the night sky. And just imagine that star is no different from our sun, with planets orbiting that star. And imagine there is a planet orbiting that star that you see there in the sky from that terrace. Breathable oxygen. And imagine what it would be like to be on that planet. So the star in the sky is now the sun in the blue skies. As you could imagine being in a different planet, but still in the Milky Way galaxy. Imagine the density of oxygen in their atmosphere is richer. So as you breathe in, you feel even more relaxed, energized, even more resourceful. Imagine the gravity on that planet is lighter. So you can feel a light, floaty sensation. And imagine all of that oxygen is making you feel drowsy and sleepy. And I want you to imagine what it would be like there on that planet to drift off into a dreamlike sleep. And I want you to imagine exploring a future that is undesirable. I want you to think about something that you've done in the past that every now and then pops into your mind. I want you to think about perhaps using porn, interactions, videos, or live experiences as a form of connection, a coping strategy for stress. I want you to get a sense that at some level it works. It can take your mind off difficult challenges. An instantaneous thing to do if procrastination creeps in. If you're anxious or stressed, you can change your emotional state rapidly. But just because something works doesn't mean it's desirable. Someone could lose weight by amputating a limb. Doesn't mean it's useful. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to follow this timeline. A timeline of using porn as a coping strategy. And just imagine a year of you at your worst being a regular occurrence. I want you to feel the weight of those missed opportunities. That all that time, energy, emotion, or even money invested into porn has come at a cost. Maybe it's the occasional failed exam. Maybe it's stunted or delayed your career. But I want you to feel how you would feel 1 year from now. Feel the weight of that regret, those missed opportunities. Also feel the weight of perhaps any shame or feelings of low self-worth that can come from retreating from difficult challenges. I want you to feel that maybe a year of doing this is also affecting your social life or personal life, and just feel the weight of that. That's it. I want you to get a sense that as undesirable as this is, it's manageable. So now go forwards another 4 years, so you're 5 years in the future. Evaluate what age you would be. And I want you to imagine 5 years of being dependent on porn. Maybe you can calculate all of those hours, all of that time, energy, emotion and money. You've put all that in, but what's it given you back? I want you to feel what it's done to your career. Feel that all of that time, energy and emotion has taken something from your career trajectory. Maybe there's colleagues or friends that you know that are flying ahead and you seem like you're falling behind. Maybe it's affecting your self-confidence. I want you to imagine the impact it's having on your personal relationships. Imagine 5 years of spending so much time looking at porn. It becomes difficult to hold down a relationship. And even if you do, imagine how you would feel if you're thinking of other people instead of them, perhaps when you're intimate. I want you to get a sense then, even if you think you're getting away with things, there are subtle clues and tells that would impact how you come across. I want you to feel the weight of 5 years of living this way. I want you to think of 5 years of missed opportunities to improve your relationship. 5 years of missed opportunities of leaning into the stress rather than avoiding it. 5 years of all those missed opportunities to go to the gym and work out, but instead found yourself lost in the rabbit hole of the internet. I want you to think of the risks that you took. Risks that could affect your career, your reputation, your relationship. If your unconscious is increasing its desire to avoid this future, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. But let's go forward another 10 years into the future. Imagine 15 years. I want you to feel yourself at that age. That age that all of this time, energy and motion, you could count it up to perhaps years of your life invested in chasing a dopamine hit. All of that short-term gratification has wired your brain to seek out other forms of short-term gratification. I want you to get a sense that your body shape is different. Instead of using the gym as a tool to manage your emotions, you got lost in technology as a form of sexual gratification. But 15 years in the future, don't be surprised if you're addicted to a sex robot, a virtual reality world of fantasy. Maybe that's had an impact on your ability to form real relationships. I want you to imagine a worst-case scenario, that this addiction, this habit, led to something embarrassing happening. Maybe blackmail, extortion, coercion, threats. That something you did or said was recorded. Just imagine that you were threatened. Imagine that you paid them. And they revealed it to everyone anyway. I want you to see how that would impact your career. Any future relationships that search for you online, this video would pop up. Knowing that any children in the future might see that. If you're reaching the point that you can avoid all of this by reprioritizing coping strategies and leaning into a future that is more desirable, if your unconscious is willing to make a change, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine everything happening backwards, rewind everything till there you are, back on that planet, but this time exploring a different timeline. A timeline where porn is still an option. It's just the very last thing on a very long list. I want you to imagine a year that whenever you felt stressed or anxious, you leant into that stress. Believed that leaning into the stress would increase your resilience, help you solve problems, become more knowledgeable. A year of becoming more capable. Notice how much better you feel. A year of when you feel anxious, you lean into the anxiety, evaluating probabilities, accepting those things you can't control. But for those things you can control, notice yourself preparing more, doing what you can. And notice in doing so, you mitigate that risk. You experience more of the upside and less of the downside. You start to build a reputation of someone that can handle stress, deal with anxiety. You're labeled as a leader, someone oozing resilience, confident and capable, while others procrastinate. You get to work doing what needs to be done early. Imagine a year of that. Already feel your life going in a different direction. And sometimes if you're feeling stressed or anxious or just bored, know that you can consider porn, but just put the gym above it in that hierarchy of things to do. Knowing that you're just a few minutes away from having a powerful workout. Getting that connection between you and your body through getting your heart racing or lifting weights. Feel the sense of pride. Whenever you get a new personal best or do something you couldn't do before, that the dopamine comes through accomplishment and achievement. Imagine 5 years of living that way. Figure out where your career might be. 5 years of resilience, discipline, stepping up, leaning into the stress, leaning into the anxiety. 5 years of figuring out that there are so many better ways of dealing with emotions than porn. 5 years of finding that human connection with your partner, your relationship. All that time, energy, and emotion that was going into porn is now going into your partner. Feel a sense of pride that your career is moving in the right direction. Your relationship is getting stronger and stronger, and your physical body is getting stronger and stronger. Take that timeline out now to 15 years in the future. A high flyer, heavy hitter, flying high in your career. Feeling a sense of ongoing accomplishment. You get your dopamine now from people congratulating you on your success. The looks of admiration, not embarrassment. The glances of respect. When you catch yourself in the mirror, you see an accomplished, successful man. See yourself with a physique of someone that works out regularly. Even at this age, 15 years in the future, you look strong and healthy, brimming with confidence and self-esteem. Imagine being in your body back then, 15 years in the future, and then catch a glimpse of that previous version of you that got lost in a world of porn, damaged their reputation, and get a sense of sympathy and empathy, but pride that you didn't go down that route. If your unconscious mind feels that this is not just more desirable, but is also giving you more than porn could ever give you. Real successes, real relationship, real strength, real resilience. That you would never trade in all of this just for the temporary gratification of some random stranger on the internet. If your unconscious mind is willing to commit to this future, knowing that porn is always an option, but just an undesirable option way at the bottom of a very long list, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to feel that you can support your mind in this journey as you go all the way back, and just imagine what the first few days of this would be like. Maybe a few things that would signal an intention with your current relationship. Maybe it's just the next time you feel stressed or anxious, that's the person you call. Or you take a short walk to the gym and have a workout. Or maybe you lean into something stressful, believing in your ability to do well at that thing. Rome wasn't built in a day. Imagine that you're laying the foundation of your future self over the next few days. That your trust in your ability to be capable, confident, resilient will come from these early decisions, but also a gesture to yourself, maybe deactivating certain accounts, blocking certain sites. I want you to give a gift to that future version of you to create friction and barriers so that if that old part ever comes back, you give it a few hoops to jump through to make it difficult to get to that place quickly, so that it becomes easier to just call your partner, solve a problem, or go for a workout at the gym. I want you to think of the specific things you can do to make it difficult for that first timeline to ever become a possibility. And when you know exactly what you're going to do, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then find yourself there on that planet, staring up at the sky, the stars, and seeing one star that happens to be Earth's sun. And imagine the Earth orbiting around that sun, and there is a terrace from your childhood that you can recall. And imagine being on that terrace, looking up at the stars, feeling the cool breeze, feeling a wonderful feeling of relaxation. And then imagine leaving that terrace, seeing a portal all the way back to your present moment. Imagine walking through the portal and feeling that swish all the way back to the present, seeing yourself looking relaxed right there, right now, and step into that with a new sense of resilience, clarity, a sense that you are destined to be who you are capable of, and it would be a tragedy to be anything less. Step into that identity which is there in your current self as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect fully into the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.